F26 boyfriend, M27, keeps humiliating himself at events. What can I do? My boyfriend and I met in college in 2018 and were together from 20 to 24. We split up because he lost his jobs and refused to get a new one, making me cover our rent for 5 months. He was very unpleasant to be around during this time, particularly when I brought him to parties. Sometimes he would insult people, sometimes he would start fights. It became recurrent enough that friends would explicitly ask me not to bring him to anything. After one particularly bad party where he drunkenly screamed in my face and tried to start a physical fight, he swore he would get help, that he saw how mortifying this was and would never again put me in that position. We finally split up in 2022. It was amicable. We remained cordial and respectful of each other, and he insisted he would make every effort to become the man I needed him to be. We both come from quite different backgrounds. I grew up stably middle class, and he grew up in a very dysfunctional, impoverished home. He is the only person in his family to get a college degree, and he's extremely intelligent. He is also, however, quite jaded, resenting many of our classmates and sometimes our friends. After we split, he moved away to work for an international tech company. I continued to work within my field and built up a strong network of friends and colleagues. And to each other on a night out. He seemed to be in a much better space than when I last saw him. We went on a few dates, and there was a marked change in his behavior and maturity. We spent the next few months rekindling our relationship. I was initially apprehensive to get back together, especially given how extreme his behavior could be at parties in the past. He assured me that that was behind him and that he'd make every effort to be the man I deserved. Ultimately, I believed he'd changed. My work recently threw a launch party that I was unable to go to because I was sick. My coworker, Janice, is friends with my BF and brought him to the party. Another of my coworkers, Annie, is dating an old classmate of my BF's. When my BF discovered Annie was with his classmate, he started making a lot of jokes at his expense. Annie got really upset and screamed at him. It turned out that my BF used to bully Annie's boyfriend when they were teenagers, to the point that Annie's boyfriend changed schools to get away from my BF. My boss witnessed how my BF was speaking to Annie and asked him to leave the event. Afterwards, he was banned from the premises of my workplace. When my BF told me what had happened, he only told me that my boss had attacked him for being working class. I doubted this, but he was adamant that he did nothing wrong, meant no offense, and was being misunderstood. Last weekend, we went to a mutual friend's Halloween party. We know this friend from college, and I was actually introduced to him by my BF. I left my BF alone for about 15 minutes while I chatted with friends. When I did see him again, it was with the party host, who told us that several people had complained that my BF had insulted them. The following day, I got a message from the party host explaining that though I was always welcome at his home, my BF was not allowed to ever come to an event there again. When I confronted my BF about this, he initially laughed it off. I made it clear that this was a deal breaker when we reconnected. He promised to look into therapy, but I told him that this behavior was completely unacceptable. He has now been banned from at least 5 homes, businesses, or events. I asked to take a few days to think about our future. He's asked me not to leave him and sent me flowers. I don't want to leave him, but I fear if I stay with him, he's going to isolate me from more and more of my friends. I despise how he acts and have asked him to change repeatedly. He insists he's going to change, but I've been through this cycle with him enough times to have very low expectations. I love him so much, but I can't let him destroy my life.